10 Greatest Gunslingers in Western Movie History. Since the earliest days of Hollywood, Westerns have made gunslingers the cornerstone of cinema, from classic films like Shane to modern icons like The Hateful Eight and 3:10 to Yuma. Touching on the idea of the solitary, mysterious hero facing off against impossible odds, these films have influenced everything from the action genre to beloved superhero stories. Looking back on the Wild West on screen, some gunfighters stand out far ahead of the rest in the impact they've made on cinema and their fame among audiences. Today, the gunslinger mythology continues to inform heroes across genres, from assassins like John Wick to superheroes like Wolverine, in gritty action films. With a presence in the likes of science fiction, crime drama, and the MCU, the influence of these characters is stronger than most. Whether it's the smooth-talking gambler Doc Holliday or the rugged drifters common in Sergio Leone movies, these gunfighters defined the Wild West perfectly. Harmonica is Charles Bronson's best Western role in 1968. Sergio Leone turned in one of his greatest Westerns in Once Upon a Time in the West. The story opens with the arrival of a gunfighter named Harmonica, who guns down a trio of criminals belonging to a gang of assassins headed by Frank. Intent on stealing a piece of land from a widow named Jill, whose husband he murdered, Frank's threats prompt Harmonica to team up with a bandit named Cheyenne to defend her. Harmonica might not be the icon that the man with no name is, but Charles Bronson played the character perfectly, ensuring he'd have one of the greatest revenge stories in Western history. From his first scene, where he guns down a trio of professional killers, he proves he's every bit as deadly as any Eastwood gunslinger, and his story arc plays out masterfully. Emilio Estevez's Billy the Kid made Young Guns iconic. Young Guns begins when William Borney is spotted by a kindly rancher named John Tuttle, who takes him in as the authorities look for him. Employing him as a farmhand, Borney meets Tuttle's other hands, a group of young men dubbed the Regulators. When Tuttle's rival Murphy guns him down in cold blood, the Regulators are deputized by the law to arrest those responsible. Along the way, Billy takes justice one step further, going so far as to shoot the guilty while unarmed, pursuing a bloodthirsty sense of revenge. Few names are as synonymous with the Wild West as William "Billy the Kid" Borney, and nobody played him as well as Emilio Estevez in Young Guns. The film portrays him as the wild-card gunfighter that he was, exploring how his impetuous personality could be just as much a liability as an asset. All the Regulators are great characters, but Billy embodies the genre like no other. Jamie Foxx made Django Freeman box office gold in 2012. Quentin Tarantino put his own spin on old-school spaghetti westerns when he cast Jamie Foxx as the titular gunslinger for Django Unchained. Beginning with his liberation from slavery by the German bounty hunter Dr. King Schultz, it leads him on their quest to Mississippi to rescue his wife Broomhilda from the ruthless slaver Calvin Candy. Eclipsing the fame of Franco Nero's 1966 Django, Jamie Foxx soared to the top of Western movie box office history, introducing a new generation to the genre through his hero. Like all the best gunslingers, he's a quick learner and a natural when it comes to shooting, ensuring that, by the time the final showdown rolls around, the audience never doubts his ability to save the day. Brad Pitt captured the tragedy of Jesse James perfectly. The assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford follows the exploits of Ford as he joins the gang of his Western idol, Jesse James. However, the more time he spends in the presence of the man behind the myth, the more disillusioned he becomes with him, culminating in the titular murder. Like many of the best gunslingers of the Old West, James is forced to contend with challenges from all around, both rivals and lawmen alike. The assassination of Jesse James took some time to achieve classic status, thanks to its stunning cinematography and brilliant acting. Despite being a deconstruction of James, the casting of Brad Pitt ensured the character would become an iconic gunslinger of modern cinema. In the film, he's depicted as an unlikely man of the people, beloved by everyone in the West who has fully bought into the legend of his story. Clint Eastwood's Jose Wales is an action hero for the Wild West set during the Civil War. The outlaw Jose Wales tells the story of a farmer whose family is murdered by Union militia, driving him into the arms of the Confederacy for revenge. However, when his unit is betrayed upon surrendering, he's forced to go it alone into the wilderness, hoping to find refuge in Mexico. Along the way, he becomes an unlikely protector to a group of outcasts, giving him a surrogate family for his travels. Hunted by bounty killers and militia, he's forced to defend himself, showing it'll take a veritable army to bring him down. Jose Wales is as much a quote factory for Clint Eastwood as he is a master gunslinger, always sure to say something memorable before gunning down a whole squad of soldiers. Like the best Eastwood characters, he plays into the trope of a man who's trying his hardest to escape violence, only for it to follow him wherever he goes. Ultimately, it's his dialogue that elevates him from just another gunslinger to one of the most memorable Western anti-heroes ever created. Henry Fonda made Frank an iconic villain in Once Upon a Time in the West as great as Harmonica, Jill, and Cheyenne are in Once Upon a Time in the West. The the film's villain, Frank, completely steals the show. From the moment he arrives on screen, the audience is forced to watch in horror as he and his gang gun down the McBain family in cold blood. With no doubt left in their mind that Frank is pure evil, they watch as he continues his mission to steal the land, sinking to new lows with every scene. Shown to have a dark past full of senseless violence, Frank stands out as one of the greatest Western villains of all time, and elevated Leone's film from classic to masterpiece. Few characters have been able to shock the audience quite like Frank, and the story builds him up to be a man who embodies the darker side of the Wild West. Clint Eastwood's William Money reimagines a Western classic for Unforgiven. Unforgiven tells the story of a former gunslinger, William Money, who retired from his violent ways to care for his family. Now an older widower, he hesitantly accepts one last bounty hunter job to provide for his children. Along with an aspiring gunfighter and his old friend, he rides out for the small town of Big Whiskey, Wyoming, to hunt for a pair of cowboys who attacked a prostitute. A dark reimagining of Alan Ladd Shane, Money is an inversion of the typical gunslinger protagonist. This man has done horrible things and, in any other film, would have been a villain like Henry Fonda's Frank. Here, he tries to find some semblance of redemption, only to remember the toll that violence takes on a man's soul and his life. Eastwood plays the character brilliantly as a man still haunted by his past deeds, and the story's third act sees him transform from reluctant anti-hero to a force to be reckoned with. Val Kilmer's take on Doc Holliday-made Tombstone iconic. Tombstone follows the arrival of the App brothers to the boomtown Tombstone, where the oldest, Virgil, has been appointed marshal. There, Wyatt Earp rekindles an